Have you ever found yourself chasing something so hard that the more effort you put in, the faster it slips away? Like when you're desperately trying to find love, you're texting constantly, checking your phone every 5 minutes. And the more you cling to it, the more distant the person seems to become. Or at work, you think that pulling endless overtime is the only way to succeed. But in the end, you're just left exhausted with little to show for it. It's like swimming. If you panic and start flailing your arms, you're way more likely to sink. But when you trust the water and let go, you float. That's exactly what we're diving into today. How to relax and actually attract the things you want without constant pressure or burnout that just blocks everything. In this video, I'm sharing 7 key ideas that can really change the game. You'll see that when you shift the way you think and act, you make room for abundance, new chances, and the results you've been craving. And make sure to stick around till the end, because I've got one last tip that pulls it all together, something that'll help you actually apply all this in real life. Before we jump in, don't forget to hit the like button if this topic speaks to you, and subscribe if you haven't yet. It's a small thing for you, but it really helps out the channel, and it makes sure you don't miss what's coming next. So, are you ready to stop running after your dreams and finally start drawing them to you? Let's get into it. Now that we've set the stage and talked about why letting go is so important if you want to manifest what you really want, let's get into the first big idea: detaching from the outcome. What does that actually mean? It's about not living your life only to chase one specific goal and not letting that goal take over your whole mindset. When you want something really bad, like a dream job, more money, or finding someone to love, it's super easy to get tunnel vision. You start obsessing over the end result, putting a ton of pressure on yourself to make it happen. And that pressure, it turns into anxiety, stress, and sometimes you even start acting a little desperate. Ironically, that kind of energy doesn't speed things up. It slows everything down and creates blocks. Take Alex, for example. He was a super talented young developer who wanted to work at a big tech company. His resume was solid. He was doing all the right things: job fairs, interviews, you name it. But the more he pushed and stressed about landing his dream job, the more tense he became. That tension showed during interviews. He was so focused on nailing it that he came off nervous and kind of stiff. It wasn't clicking. Then one of his mentors hit him with a piece of advice that stuck. Stop trying to force it. Do your best, sure, but quit acting like your whole life depends on this. Let the process breathe. At first, Alex thought that was way too vague. I mean, how do you just let go when you feel like your whole future is riding on something? But eventually, he gave it a shot. Instead of obsessing over getting hired, he started approaching interviews with a mindset of curiosity, like, what's this company about? Or do I even vibe with this team? He relaxed a bit and treated the whole thing as a two-way exchange instead of a test he had to pass. And guess what? That shift made all the difference. He came across more confident, more real. People could feel that energy. And in the end, not only did he get an offer, he got multiple, including one from the company he'd been dreaming about all along. So why does letting go work like that? When you're pushing way too hard, you're actually giving off this subtle energy of fear or doubt, like you're scared it won't happen. And people can feel that, even if they don't realize it. On the flip side, when you're chill and confident, you're in flow. You're not giving off this needy, desperate vibe. Instead, things start coming to you. It's like your goal is drawn to your energy rather than you having to chase it down. So if you want to start letting go of the outcome, here's the vibe. Focus on what you can do right now instead of obsessing over the result. Don't get stuck waiting on a reply or refreshing your inbox every hour. Just keep doing stuff that helps you learn, grow, or feel good. Also, stop thinking you have to be perfect. Nobody is. What really matters over time is consistency, passion, and staying in it, not flawless execution. And finally, stay grounded in the moment. Most of the stress we feel comes from imagining worst-case scenarios that haven't even happened. So when you catch yourself spiraling, pause and ask, what's actually going on right now? You'll probably realize you're okay. Doing this doesn't mean you stop caring or give up. It just means you're giving yourself the freedom to show up fully without being crushed by pressure or fear of failure. And honestly, that's the headspace where things finally start to click. So now that we've talked about how important it is to stop obsessing over the outcome, let's get into another big piece of the puzzle, your mindset. Because honestly, your thoughts shape everything. Ever had one of those mornings where one small thing goes wrong, like you wake up late, and then the rest of the day just seems to spiral? Traffic sucks, someone sends a rude email, random stuff keeps piling on, and it feels like the universe is just against you. But in reality, it's your brain that's filtering the day through that one negative moment. It's like once you're in a bad headspace, you start noticing only the stuff that confirms it. That's exactly what happened to Sam. He'd wake up every morning already stressed, convinced the day was gonna suck. And even if things started off fine, he'd find something like a weird look from a coworker or a typo in an email to confirm his belief that the day was doomed. Over time, this constant negativity wore him down. People around him started pulling away because, let's be real, nobody wants to be around someone who's always expecting the worst. And what's worse is that his mindset ended up making him miss out on actual opportunities. Eventually, Sam hit a wall and decided he had to make a change. He started working with a coach, and the coach told him something pretty real. His problem wasn't bad luck. It was the negative feedback loop he'd built in his own head. The first step, just being aware of the stuff he was telling himself. We've all got that voice in our head that comments on everything, and a lot of the time that voice is more critical or scared than helpful. So Sam started practicing mindfulness, just noticing when a negative thought popped up without judging it. Like catching himself thinking, this day is going to be a disaster. And instead of running with it, just going, okay, that's what my brain's saying right now. That small shift, just noticing the thought, was already a big deal, because when you don't catch your thoughts, they run the show. It's like you're a fish in water and don't even realize you're swimming in it. You're just reacting and getting drained without even knowing why. After that, he started changing how he talked to himself. So instead of, I'm never gonna figure this out, he'd try something like, this is tough, but I'll find a way. At first it felt kind of fake, but with time and practice, his brain started believing it more and more. That's the thing. Your thoughts aren't just background noise. They shape how you feel, how you act, even how your body reacts. Switching from I suck to I'm figuring it out doesn't seem like much, but it can totally shift your vibe and your energy for the whole day. He also made a habit of pulling himself back into the present whenever he caught himself spinning out about some future disaster. Whether it was deep breathing, taking a quick walk, or just checking in with how he was feeling in the moment, he realized most of the time nothing bad was actually happening. It was all just stress about stuff that hadn't even occurred yet. And the results? Way less stress. He felt more open to good stuff happening because he wasn't stuck in this cycle of expecting everything to go wrong. His relationships got better too. His co-workers even told him he seemed more grounded and easier to be around. He didn't magically get rid of all negative thoughts, but he learned that he doesn't have to buy into every one of them. And that made all the difference. If you want to apply this for yourself, start by checking in with your thoughts during the day. When a crappy one pops up, name it. Like, that's just my worst-case scenario brain kicking in, and let it pass without jumping on board. Instead of trash-talking yourself, flip the script a little. Try saying something that's still true, but more supportive. And at night, take a second to think of a few good things from your day. Doesn't have to be huge. Could be a good coffee, a nice convo, anything that felt good. It trains your brain to look for what's working, not just what's going wrong. Because at the end of the day, you're not your thoughts. You're the one noticing them, and that means you've got the power to change the story. Now let's get into something that might sound kind of spiritual or woo-woo at first, but honestly it's super real, trusting divine timing. Basically, it's about accepting that things don't always happen when you want them to, but they happen when they're meant to. And yeah, that's frustrating sometimes. We're used to being in control, setting deadlines, making plans, but some stuff you just can't rush. Think of it like planting a flower. You can water it, give it sun, take care of the soil, but if you try to dig it up to check if it's growing, you'll probably just mess it up. You can't force it to bloom faster. Same goes for life. Whether it's your career, love life, or a personal project, there comes a point where you've done your part, and now it's about letting life do its part. Take Maya. She was all about planning everything to the minute. She told herself that by 28, she'd be a manager making a certain amount of money and married. Nothing wrong with ambition, but she was so locked into her timeline that she was constantly stressed, jumping from job to climb the ladder as fast as possible, and dating with the energy of, I need to check the box. But here's the thing. In trying to rush everything, she never gave herself time to actually grow. At work, she didn't stick around long enough to build real skills or solid relationships. In love, she wasn't really connecting. She was scanning every person like they were a checklist. Eventually, it wore her out. She wasn't getting where she wanted, and even when she did, it didn't feel how she thought it would. That's when a friend hit her with some truth. You're running a marathon like it's a sprint. Some things just need time to ripen. So she slowed down. Instead of jumping to the next shiny opportunity, she focused on doing her current job really well, building trust with her team, learning more. She stopped dating in panic mode and started enjoying getting to know people without the pressure. And guess what? That's when everything shifted. She ended up getting offered a role she hadn't even considered, but it fit her perfectly. And love. It showed up in the most random way, but this time it was real, not forced. She realized it wasn't about giving up her goals, it was about letting go of the rush. Instead of stressing about when, she focused on how she was showing up. Was she growing? Was she becoming someone ready for what she wanted? So, yeah, trust the timing. That doesn't mean sit around doing nothing. Keep learning, keep building, keep showing up. But stop trying to bend time to your will. If something's meant for you, it'll meet you when you're ready, not when you're panicking for it to arrive. Also, pay attention to the little signs life throws at you. Sometimes the thing you think you want isn't even the best option. Something better might be right there, but you miss it because you're too busy chasing your own made-up timeline. And please, celebrate the small stuff. Progress is progress, even if it's not happening as fast as you'd like. That's still growth. That's still momentum. Let go of the pressure to have it all figured out right now. The best things usually don't come when you're forcing them. They come when you're open, consistent, and not freaking out every 5 minutes about the future. So now that we've talked about trusting the timing of things, let's go even deeper and look at how you take action. A lot of people mix up being busy with being productive. Just because you're constantly doing stuff doesn't mean you're moving in the right direction. Sometimes we act out of fear. We say yes to everything, rush into tasks, try to stay on all the time, because we're scared of missing out or falling behind. But that kind of action, it drains you fast. What really matters is the energy behind what you're doing. There's a huge difference between doing something because you feel panicked and doing it because it actually lines up with your goals, your values, and what you really care about. Imagine two people launching a business. One wakes up every day, stressed, feeling like they have to hustle non-stop, terrified of losing momentum. The other one wakes up with a clear vision, excited to build something meaningful, and puts their energy into the stuff that actually matters. Who do you think is more likely to succeed and enjoy the ride while doing it? David is a perfect example of this. For the longest time, he believed the only way to make it was to grind 24/7. He filled his schedule to the brim, emails, meetings, running around, staying up late, trying to catch up. And even with all that, he felt stuck, like he was running hard but not getting anywhere. He was always saying yes to every opportunity, even the ones that didn't really align with what he wanted. He didn't have time to go deep on the projects that actually mattered. And on top of all that, he was just burnt out, tired, stressed, kind of miserable. His friends noticed it too. He wasn't present. He was always somewhere else. Then one day, it hit him. He said, "I'm working myself into the ground, and I still don't feel like I'm moving forward." So he asked himself, what's the point of all this? What am I actually trying to create? That question changed everything. He realized he wanted to build something meaningful, something aligned with who he was, not just something that looked good on paper or made money fast. So he took a step back and really thought about where his time was going. He started getting super intentional. He focused on projects that lit him up. He cut out the stuff that didn't matter, even if it looked productive. He blocked off time for deep work and left space to breathe. He even started this daily habit of setting an intention each morning, just one clear thing that connected back to his bigger purpose. Something like, today I want to make progress on this project because it reflects what I care about. And just doing that grounded him. It gave his day a direction that felt right. Pretty quickly, things started to shift. He was doing less, but getting way more done. The stress started to fade, and the clients and partners he attracted, way more in tune with his energy and vision. His work felt lighter, more fun, even when it was challenging. And his results? They got better too. Here's the core idea. When you take action from a place of intention, not panic, it shows. People feel that grounded energy. You're not just another person trying to hustle your way to the top. You've got clarity, you've got purpose, and that makes you magnetic. So instead of cramming your schedule with busy work, ask yourself, what really matters today? What actions actually move me toward what I want in a real, meaningful way? And don't be afraid to say no to stuff that doesn't fit. When you say yes to everything, you're actually saying no to what really counts. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters and doing it with the right energy. All right, now let's talk about something almost all of us deal with: trying to control everything. You ever catch yourself micromanaging every little detail, planning every second of your day, or freaking out when things don't go exactly how you pictured them? That's what I'm talking about. We waste so much energy trying to control stuff that honestly just isn't ours to control. And the more we try to lock everything into place, the more stressed and overwhelmed we get. Here's the thing. There's a big difference between being prepared and being controlling. Being prepared means doing your part, staying organized and being ready to adapt. But trying to control everything, that's like yelling at the ocean to stop making waves. You're just going to exhaust yourself and end up frustrated. Sarah was totally caught in that loop. She was the kind of person who had her entire day planned to the minute, made endless to-do lists, and couldn't stand it when anything didn't go exactly as expected. People called her super organized, but behind that label, she was constantly tense. She never delegated because she was scared others wouldn't do things her way. She was always tired, always on edge, and couldn't enjoy the present moment. And anytime someone suggested a new idea or a spontaneous plan, she'd freeze or push back, afraid it would mess up her carefully built structure. Eventually, all That control started taking a toll. Her relationships felt strained. Friends and co-workers felt like they had to walk on eggshells around her. And one day, when everything started to fall apart during a trip she'd overplanned, she finally cracked. That's when she realized she wasn't actually in control at all. She was just gripping too tightly out of fear. So she made some changes. Slowly, she started letting other people take the lead on small things. At first, it was uncomfortable, like really uncomfortable, but she noticed something surprising. Things didn't fall apart. In fact, sometimes they turned out better than she expected. She also stopped seeing last-minute changes as disasters. If a plan fell through, she started asking herself, okay, what else can I do with this moment? Maybe she'd rest. Maybe she'd work on something else. But she stopped letting one little shift ruin her whole vibe, and maybe the most important change. She learned to focus on what was actually in her control, how she reacted, her energy, her choices. Anytime she caught herself obsessing over what someone else might do or say, she reminded herself, that's not mine to carry. Over time, she felt lighter. She had more peace. She was more present. People around her could feel the shift. Too. Suddenly, she was easier to work with, easier to talk to. She didn't need to control everything because she'd learned to trust that she could handle whatever came up, and that's really the magic here. Letting go of control doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop stressing over stuff that was never yours to manage in the first place. You still show up, you still give your best, but you stop clenching your fists and start opening your hands a little. So next time things don't go exactly as planned, take a breath. Remind yourself that some of the best things in life show up when you didn't plan for them. And say this to yourself, I'll focus on what I can do and I'll stay open to the rest. That's where the real freedom is. Now let's get into a concept that really flips everything around. Living like you already have what you're chasing. This is where we talk about abundance. And no, I'm not just talking about money or stuff. Abundance is a mindset. It's about knowing, deep down, that there's already enough. Enough love, enough opportunity, enough time, enough of whatever you're looking for. It's about getting out of that I need more energy that so many of us live in without even realizing. We grow up thinking we have to chase everything. More money, more success, better looks, better status. The problem is when you're always focused on what you don't have, you start sending out this energy of lack. It's like telling the world, I'm incomplete, and then wondering why. You feel stuck or unfulfilled. Jake went through that. On paper, his life looked great. Solid job, good friends, nice apartment. But inside, he always felt like something was missing. Every time he hit a goal, he barely took a second to appreciate it before thinking about the next thing. Cool, I got the raise. Now I need a better title. Got the new phone. But maybe I should upgrade my car. It never ended. It was like happiness was always one step ahead of him. One night, while venting about how he still didn't feel satisfied, a friend asked him straight up, do you ever stop and just take in everything you've already got? And that hit different, because no, he didn't, ever. So he tried something simple. Every night he started writing down 3 good things from his day. Didn't have to be huge, just stuff like, had a good laugh with my coworker, or finally cooked that recipe I've been meaning to try. After just a few days, he noticed his mood shifting. Instead of waking up with that feeling of, I don't have enough, he started his days thinking, I've already got a lot going for me. His anxiety dropped. He stopped chasing stuff so desperately. And funnily enough, that's when better things started showing up, new opportunities, better connections, because he was finally showing up in a more grounded and open way. See, abundance isn't about pretending you're rich or acting like life's perfect. It's just about showing up like someone who trusts that good things are available, that they're already part of something bigger. And when you feel like that, you naturally give more. You're not clutching onto every little thing out of fear. You're open, generous, and confident, and that energy, people feel it. Life responds to it. Even small stuff can help you get into that state. Stand tall, breathe deep, smile more often. Speak like you believe things are working in your favor, not falling apart. And give a little. Your time, your attention, a compliment. That kind of generosity puts you straight into an abundant mindset because it says, I have enough to give. And that belief attracts more of what you want. Bottom line, if you always feel like you're missing something, you'll keep attracting situations that reflect that. But if you live like there's already enough, like you're already on the path, like things are already flowing, they actually start to. Okay, so at this point you might be thinking, wait, if I'm supposed to let go, trust the timing, and stop controlling everything, does that mean I just sit around and hope things happen? And the answer is, definitely not. Letting go isn't the same as doing nothing. This whole process is about finding the balance between taking real action and not obsessing over the outcome. It's both. That's what a lot of people miss when they first get into manifestation or mindset stuff. They think if they just visualize and stay positive, the universe will do the rest. But if you're not showing up, doing your part, putting in some kind of work, there's nothing for the universe to respond to. It's not about being passive, it's about being aligned. Emma's story makes that super clear. She had started her own online business and went in with this belief that the harder she worked, the faster she'd succeed. So she said yes to everything. Took on way too many clients, didn't pay attention to whether they were the right fit, didn't even stop to check if the services she was offering actually reflected what she wanted to build. She was tired, burnt out, and frustrated that things weren't growing the way she'd hoped. At one point, her coach asked her something that hit home. Are you working from fear or from clarity? She realized she didn't even have a clear picture of what she wanted anymore. She'd been reacting instead of intentionally building something. So she slowed down. She got really honest about the kind of clients she wanted to work with, the kind of services that lit her up, and the kind of schedule that would actually support her, not drain her. She didn't stop working hard, but now the work was focused. It made sense. And here's the key part. Once she did her part for the day, she let it go. She didn't check her email every 5 seconds. She didn't stress about what might happen. She did her work and then let the results unfold in their own time. That's what aligned action looks like. You're showing up. You're being consistent, but you're not glued to the result. You're not micromanaging the outcome. You're planting the seeds and letting them grow. And the results for Emma? Way less stress. She had more energy, more focus, and she started attracting clients that actually fit what she was trying to build. Her income became more stable, not because she was pushing harder, but because everything started lining up better. It's not about intensity, it's about alignment. When you're clear on your goal, when your actions support that vision, and when you can step back afterward without freaking out, that's when you make space for things to really happen. You don't need to do a million things. Just figure out what actually matters, what actually moves you forward, and keep showing up for that. And once you've done your part, let go. Trust the process. That space between effort and outcome, that's where the magic happens. So here we are, at the end of this journey through the 7 big ideas that can totally shift the way you approach your goals. And honestly, your whole life. Let's take a second to look at everything we've covered. It all started with detaching from the outcome, stopping the obsession with the end result, and focusing on what's actually in your control right now. Then we talked about managing your mindset, catching those negative thoughts before they run the show, and flipping them into something that supports you. We looked at trusting divine timing, knowing that things don't have to happen now to be meaningful, and that patience doesn't mean giving up. We also got into taking action with intention instead of fear, letting go of control, shifting into an abundant mindset, and finding that sweet spot between effort and surrender. But if there's one thing that ties all of this together, one key that makes all the difference, it's inner alignment. That's the real magic. When what you think, what you feel, and what you do are all pointing in the same direction, everything just flows easier. You're not second-guessing yourself all the time. You're not drained from trying to force things. You become magnetic because you're not sending out mixed signals to the world or to yourself. Think about it like this. If your thoughts are full of doubt, your emotions are full of fear, and your actions are scattered and frantic, how could anything solid grow from that? But if your thoughts are like, I believe this is possible, your emotions are calm and open, and your actions match that belief with steady movement, things start clicking, not overnight maybe, but they will click. So, how do you keep that alignment going? You don't need a full-blown morning routine or a 10-step process. Just take 5 minutes when you wake up to get clear on how you want to show up that day. Ask yourself, what do I want to feel today? What do I want to focus on? Choose one sentence to carry with you, something that brings you back when your mind starts to spiral. And instead of getting overwhelmed by big goals, just do one small thing that moves you in the right direction. One honest, intentional step. And hey, if this video resonated with you, take a second to support the channel. Like the video if you haven't yet, drop a comment to share which part hit home the most, or what shift you're planning to make. I'd love to hear how you're applying this stuff in your life. And if you're not already subscribed, now's a good time to join the crew. More content like this is coming soon. Also, if you know someone who's stuck in the hustle, feeling lost, or just needs to hear this message, send them this video. You never know how much it could help. Thanks for sticking with me through all of this. Seriously, just remember, you don't have to grind yourself into the ground to get what you want. You just need to be clear, show up, stay aligned, and let life meet you halfway. Trust that what's meant for you will find you. Keep showing up, keep letting go, and most of all, keep believing. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care of yourself and keep creating space for good things to come.